I'm meant to be the feature tonight. So this is one of my vignettes. I'm the author of Jilliana's Vignettes, which are true stories, episodes in my life. I think I will sit down. Okay. This one is called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Have you ever conquered your fear? I have experienced walking on hot coals in the late 80s, one of the most exciting and memorable experiences of my life. I was a member of the enthusiastic Yes group in London, which was the support network for Anthony Robbins, the American personal power and life coach guru. I was the only member who had not unleashed the power within, UPW, and walked on hot coals. I felt like a fraud. I had a fear of fire which stemmed back to my innocent years in Manchester when I first left home at the tender age of 19. I moved from Liverpool, my place of birth, to Manchester, where I accidentally set fire to my bedroom one winter night. Picture the scene. It was the 1960s and the coldest winter recorded since 1924. You could see your breath indoors. I even went to bed in my woolen underwear and 3 pairs of knickers. I had a gas fire in the Victorian fireplace of my bedsit in a house in Withington, Manchester, which I shared with 3 psychology students. The gap between the gas fire and the mantelpiece was so enormous and drafty that I stuffed it with pages from The Guardian to make the room warmer. The heat of the fire made the newspapers grow brittle, and to my horror, the flames leaping out and licking the mantelpiece. Somehow I managed to turn off the gas fire and scream, "Fire!" I had then filled a bucket of water to extinguish the flames. I remember shaking afterwards. As a result, I hated fireworks, bonfires, and flambé dishes. Every time I heard the whoosh, like lightning in a gas fire or the hob of a cooker, it would trigger my fear. It took me seconds to volunteer as a French interpreter for the UPW seminar in Brussels, but about a month to commit myself filling out the application form, moving it from one room to another before finally faxing it to Amsterdam, the headquarters of the Robbins organization in Europe. One day I just did it and was on my way to the challenge. I was one of 50 volunteers, and it turned out the only one who had not experienced the firewalk. I even shared a room in Heysel, the exhibition grounds, where the event was taking place, with a Greek girl who longed to be part of the building team. We were told that in order to get into the spirit of the event, led by Robbins himself, each one of us had to do the firewalk early on the Friday evening as it was getting dark, before the 1,500 participants took part later that evening in lines, as there were about 10 paths of glowing hot embers. I had little time to prepare myself while speaking French, giving out headphones to guests. My legs were trembling so badly that one of the volunteers noticed and coached me, telling me that I must and could do it. He told me to repeat, "I can, I can." I was surprised to see 3 Hasidic Jews who did not speak English at the registration desk. It seemed an unlikely place for them to be. I was even more amused when they mixed with us volunteers queuing up to do the walk, instead of joining the other participants. When I asked them in French, they explained they must not walk on the Sabbath. If they can do it, then I can do it. And I did. I just put my mind to it and focused on my walk, saying, I can, all the way to the end of the glowing path. I cried at the end, received hugs and cheers from my colleagues. That's it, I said, looking back at the path of embers, crying with relief. I felt the fear and did it anyway.